Yo, 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 Maddie Stands here for Snag It or Flag It. And on today's episode, we're going to be chatting about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or as I like to call it, Odyssey. Because after all is said and done, this game is really just an Assassin's Creed game in name only. And Odyssey, ladies and gents, gets a big, huge red flag it.
Flag it. Run away. Don't play.
Yo, 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 everybody, it's Maddie Stands here, and I know that it sounds like I absolutely hated Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or as I like to call it, Odyssey. I actually really didn't hate it. I just hated the fact that it was an Assassin's Creed game, because I really don't feel like it was an Assassin's Creed game. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens at the end, if you haven't played the game yet and you want to and you don't want to know things that happen, turn away right now. Or actually, you probably shouldn't, because it may save you wasted hours of your life. Because I actually finished the game, because one of the hopes that I had in playing it was that I would eventually get a hidden blade, which guess what? Boom. No, I didn't. And there's just a few things that I think need to make up an Assassin's Creed game. 1, hidden blade. Gotta have a hidden blade. 2, stealth. 3, parkour. And I really felt like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or as I like to call it, Odyssey, really had none of those things. I mean, it had a little bit of parkour, but nothing like it did in the previous games. And at one point I felt like in the cities, and they all look the same, by the way, for the most part. The buildings are too far apart to do any sort of hardcore parkour. So that was taken out of it, and there is a little bit of stealth involved, but towards the end of the game, my character got so powerful and his weapons got so powerful that just to get to the end of it, because I wanted to see if I did get a hidden blade, I'd just roll into a place and just decimate everybody. I did have an awesome warhammer, and that was kind of one of the other things that I kind of perturbed me a little bit during the game, is the weapons and outfits that I picked up early on in the game. I upgraded them a few times, and they just ended up becoming more powerful than even some of the weapons I would get on special quest. So I was like, why change it? So you mix those things in with the fact that I hated the side quests. I loathed the side quests. The side quests became so monotonous to me. The side quests actually made me angry, because they were just so... That's all I can think of. I don't want to be too impolite. But basically, you would just go somewhere, talk to a character, they'd tell you they need this, they'd send you to go get that thing, you'd go get that thing, come back to the character, then he'd say that he needs this, sends you out on this, come back to him, and I also need this, send you back out, come back to him, oh, and this, and then your character goes out and you get this, you meet somebody else to get this thing, and that other person you meet tells you that you go get this for them and bring this back, then they'll give you what you need for the first character. All over the place. I loathed the quest. I loathed the side quest. I loathed, after a while, when I would realize I've got to do a side quest, because sometimes you have to do side quests to move on, which I'm kind of like, if that's the thing, then wouldn't that actually make it part of the main quest? Anyway, I hated that aspect of it. Another aspect of it that I just came to detest was, it seemed after a while like almost every character you came across, ones you had already met, ones that you would not even think this person's going to be like this, would hit on you. And while for the most part I'm not, necessarily against something like that, I'm just sitting there kind of going, just let me play the game. And I'm also thinking to myself, how is this even helping the game? It's not progressing the story. It's not enriching your character. So what's the point of it? Are you just trying to prove that you've made a game, like a dating or hoochie coochie simulator? Big deal. I mean, I felt like I was playing 2 games in one at one point, where you've got this rousing adventure set in a fantasy land in ancient Greece known as Odyssey. And then you also have like this dating simulator, late night date life in ancient Greece. And I was really, that almost became as aggravating as a side quest, where I was apprehensive about talking to characters because I would think, oh great, they're going to hit on me again. Then I'm going to have to go through a bunch of crazy dialogue just to be like, no, I don't dig you. Give me what I'm asking for so I continue with the quest, because Greece is on fire and I don't have time for hanky-panky. Now, part of the saving grace of this game was the fact that it did have good gameplay. It was kind of fun. I just felt like they shouldn't have labeled it Assassin's Creed. I feel like they kind of did that because they knew that they couldn't sell as many copies as they wanted to if they just threw out a game called Odyssey. I mean, it's not an Assassin's Creed game. When you play it, it does not feel like an Assassin's Creed game. And that bothered me, because that's why I did pay for the game. I paid for it because I wanted to play an Assassin's Creed game. And the only part of it to me that really felt like an Assassin's Creed game was the DLC content Legacy of the First Blade, which I actually really liked. I liked the characters. I liked the story. I thought the story was awesome. Like I said, I liked the story in Odyssey too, but this story I just felt like had so much more passion, so much more of the game. There was things that felt at stake. I felt more involved with the character. I played Alexios. In the Assassin's Creed games, you can choose which character you want to be. You can either be the sister Cassandra or the brother Alexios. Anyway, in fact, even in Legacy of the First Blade, they had a stealthy assassin with a hidden blade. Imagine that, an Assassin's Creed game with a stealthy assassin that has a hidden blade attached to his wrist. And so, actually, Legacy of the First Blade, I think they should have expanded more on that story, and that should have been the main game of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, not what they threw out. But I kind of feel like they're going to start getting away from what Assassin's Creed was and start rolling into more of what they had set up in Odyssey. So there you have it. Now, I really struggled hard with trying to figure out how to grade this, because there were aspects of the game that I did enjoy, as I've told you. But there were an awful heck of a lot of aspects of the game that I just really, I can't see myself playing it again. And if I can't see myself playing it again, that's not a good sign. And, I'm not really necessarily looking at it as an Assassin's Creed game. I'm, sitting there thinking, how does it stand on its own? And I just feel like the negatives, that the positives do not overcome the negatives in this game. So that, combined with replayability or lack thereof, gets it a big red flag. Flag it. Run away. Don't play.